write a long sales letter, or will a short sales letter work? How long does my sales letter need to be? Should I hire a copywriter or try this myself, and what will it cost? I don't know how to get started writing my sales copy. I just sit and stare at a blank screen. Can someone please help me just figure this out? Now, all of these questions I took, and now I come up with some copy that I'm going to show you on this next slide that goes through and basically tries to answer these questions in my copy. And this is what you need to do. You need to find out the questions being asked by your targeted audience, and then you need to answer those questions in your copy, because it's going to give that personalized feeling like you're talking to that person. So here's what I come up with. Dear friends, chances are you and I have never met, but I do know these 3 things about you. You're frustrated and you're tired of just staring at a blank screen all day long trying to write high converting sales copy just like the professionals. And you're to the point that all you want to do is scream at your computer screen, can someone just please help me figure this out? Remember those kind of questions back there? You're sick and tired of trying to decide the right way to use swipe copy without feeling like you're stealing someone else's words, and avoid plagiarism so that you can churn out killer sales pages in no time and anytime you want. You want to learn the most effective, high potent, and powerful copywriting strategies that will allow you to write persuasive copy that wins the hearts and minds of your prospects and converts them into high-paying customers. If you answered yes to any of these statements above, then there's only one place that you should be, and that is right where you are right now, because you have found the help that you're screaming for. Now, that may not have been the greatest sales copy that you've ever seen, but as you notice, what I did through there is I answered those questions that were on the previous page. You know, where we had that person that was sitting there just staring at their blank screen saying, can somebody just please help me figure this out? When this person reads that, your sales copy, they're going to think, wow, how did they know? They know me. You know, it had another person wanting to know how to use swipe copy without feeling like they're stealing somebody else's words. You've answered that question. You know, you told them that I've got the answer for you right here. You know, another person wanted to know how to, learn the most effective, different ways to write copywriting strategies that will allow him to write persuasive copy. You're telling that person, these questions that you have, I have the answers, and they're right here where you're at right now. You're at the right place, the right time. Know your product. This is another thing that's going to be a big thing that comes into play. You have to know your product and enable you to write good, effective sales copy. So you're going to have to research your product. Now, this is probably going to be one of the easiest things because you're the one that hopefully created the product, or you've researched your product that you've bought maybe PLR rights to, and you know everything about that product. So in order to effectively sell a product, you must understand it and its benefits. Know what you're offering first, and your sales copy will soar. If you do not know the real benefits yourself, how can you effectively communicate the benefits of your product to your audience? So in other words, if you don't know your product yourself, how are you going to be able to write about it in sales copy and convince your audience that it's something they need? Having product knowledge will allow you to more effectively write copy that shows and convinces your reader that your product is the answer to their problem, and it helps create a need, that your product helps create a need in your target audience. All right, now let's take a look at the example of some sales copy that we can write by having the knowledge and knowing exactly what our product is all about. Here's some copy that I wrote to go along with the Home Run Copywriters course, and so we're going to use this as an example. Now here's just a few ways the Home Run Copywriters course will benefit you. Discover the amazing simple steps you must take now to avoid and relieve the stress faced by almost every beginner copywriter, and never suffer from the frustration of having writer's blocks again. Legally smuggle from the top copywriters, and finally crank out more copy more quickly and accelerate your income exponentially. Win the hearts and minds of your prospect and convert them into high-paying customers. I guarantee that these simple techniques will soon become your most used secret weapons and dramatically enhance the conversions of every sales letter you create. Now, you may think right now that this sounds too good to be true and even impossible. I realize this might sound so extravagant you'll be tempted to dismiss it as hype. but I urge you to read on. You're going to see that what I am about to tell you is quite simple to master and extremely profitable. Now, as you notice through the copy that we've just written there and that I've just read, that it actually goes back to those questions that they had about answering questions about was swipe copy and wanting to know about writer's block and the frustration that they feel from it. So again, we're answering those questions in our copy, but it all comes from knowing our product and knowing that our product is able to solve them. It's coming from researching and knowing the questions and the problems that people are having. You need to put yourself in the target audience shoes. You need to distill the essential facts to the reader detailing why they need the product that you are writing for. You can write a powerful sales letter by identifying and answering these questions ahead of time and positioning yourself as the reader instead of the product owner. So by putting yourself in the audience's shoes, you're able to identify with them and know the questions they're going to be asking. So you put yourself in their shoes and you ask yourself the following questions. If you knew nothing about the product, how would you see it? What would you want to know about it? What key points would you want to understand about that product? What objections might you have to purchasing it? And how can you overcome the objections as part of your sales letter? So by putting yourself in their shoes, you're able to ask the questions that they would be asking, and you can identify with them through and be able to write good sales copy to help them overcome objections and to understand your product better. All right, let's talk about overcoming objections. After your audience knows exactly what the offer is and what they need to do to order, remind them not to wait and order now so they won't miss out on anything. And not right after that, you move right into killing any objections they may still have at this point. They're going to have objections from the very beginning that you're going to have to overcome. And hopefully you've done that up to this point. But once you get them to this point, you need to move right into killing any objections that they still might have. Otherwise, they're going to end up leaving your page. Now, by researching your audience, you will find some of the objections they may already have toward your product, especially if it has any similarities to competitive products. So basically, by doing the research, you're going to find out what kind of objections they have to competitors' products, and if it's similar to yours, you're going to be able to overcome those objections through your sales copy. Now, I guarantee you, plain and simple fact is that your target audience will always have objections. With proper research, you can anticipate objections ahead of time. So that's just a guarantee that, plain and simple, the fact is your target audience will always have objections. But with proper research, you're going to be able to anticipate them. You're going to be able to help overcome those objections as they move through your sales copy and get them to take the action that you're asking them to take. Writing sales copy that overcomes the objections your readers will help them feel like their questions are being answered, and they will continue to be engaged. Your very first objections to conquer will be why read your sales copy or listen to your sales video in the first place. Your reader wants to know what's in it for me, or WIIFM. So like I said, you're going to be overcoming objections from the very beginning of your copy. And the very first one is, why should they be there reading your sales copy in the first place? Why should they be listening to your sales video? So you're going to have to answer those kind of objections to get them to continue to move on forward. Focus on understanding the business needs, fears, hopes, and concerns of the person that you are selling to. Start answering common questions they might have in their minds. Learn to anticipate objections ahead of your reader and cover those objections before they ever bring them up. So as we're going through our sales copy, when they first show up, we need to start identifying with them right away. Our headline basically needs to say, yes, this is relevant to that reader, so that they're going to continue on. And then you start focusing on who you are, why they should stay there and read, why they should listen to you, and what makes you qualified to be able to have a product and to help them solve their problems. Turn product negatives into positive. A good example of this is, let's say your sales copy is talking about a product that is going to have a lot of technical issues with it that your reader might have to overcome if they were to buy. You could overturn, that negative and turn it into a positive by saying, now I understand that there's going to be a lot of technical things that you might run up against. I understand your concerns, but let me assure you that I have taken care of this by providing a special bonus offer for you that is going to help you with the technical things. Or maybe I've got a special training session that I'm going to be doing with you after you purchase that is going to help you with all the technical issues that you might have. So you're turning negatives that your reader is seeing as a negative into a positive for them. One of the best ways to know your reader's objections is to stop and ask yourself, what would you ask before purchasing? That is the best way to overcome and to know your reader's objections, is to ask yourself, what would you ask before purchasing? Here's an example of an objection your visitor may have. I am happy that you are able to understand how to make this happen, Mr. Expert.